Hey everyone, so I guess this kind of works as an update for what's going on, because the last time I uploaded was about a month ago. I had recorded the first part of a Let's Play of Portal, and I just kind of forgot to record the second half and edit the first half, and I want to finish Half-Life, but at the same time I just don't really feel like recording it at the moment. And I know not many people care, because not many people watch. Not many people watch my stuff, and I get that. Like, obviously I'm a small channel. I'm not gonna get like 100 views on every video. But, you know, not having most of my videos even break 10 views, it's a little disheartening, you know? It's just like, wow, people aren't really interested in what I'm posting. And the people who do watch it, I'm sure you guys at least enjoy it, hopefully. I hope you enjoy what I make. But I don't really know what to do to improve. I guess I don't know. It's hard sometimes to come up with ideas, with concepts, with things I want to do, because I've got so much going on in my mental space. But I'm getting help, so hopefully things will improve. I had a lot of stuff on my mind lately. If you were just here for the update, then the rest of this isn't going to be that pertinent. I'm recording this on September 12th, yesterday being the 19th anniversary of September 11th. At the time, I was 1 year old and like 5 months. So, obviously, I don't have any memories of that. That's not in any memory bank of mine. But, I'm one of those people where when I learn about historic events, I take them a lot more to heart, I guess is the best way to describe it. I feel strongly about those events, you know. And with September 11th, obviously, that's something that affects everybody to a degree. Everyone around the world was affected by it. And I feel like there's been so much post 9/11 that's changed, because the world changed on that day. All of a sudden, the views that we had on the individual versus the communities that we are in, and vice versa, they've kind of changed in both directions. To explain, like, after September 11th, it was no longer what would best serve me in the scheme of, you know, politics, of the world, of like just how I function as a citizen. It's no longer about furthering your own needs as much. It's more so about the country, the community around you, protecting our idea of freedom, you know? And at the same time, I feel like we as individuals have become more self-preserving, a lot more wary of people, where I guess the mentality is, well, these horrible things could have happened to any of us, so how do I keep myself safe? How do I protect myself? What are the things that scare me? What are the things that scare me that are dangerous? You know, and that's led to a lot of these movements of, you know, being anti-Second Amendment, of being, like, I guess on the other side of the coin of that, of being, you know, anti-immigrant, anti-Islamic, all these other things. Just being against the things that scare you rather than trying to understand them, I guess. Because I think for a lot of us, it's so much easier to just get rid of the things that scare us rather than to learn about them so that we aren't scared anymore. Like, I'm terrified of spiders. Every time I see one and it's just a little too close, and it's not like in a container that I know it can't get out of, like, I freak out. I freeze up. I start breathing faster. I kind of panic a bit. And so I've come to realize that a lot of the reason why I feel that way is because I don't really understand spiders that much. I don't know why they act the way they do. I don't know what their patterns are. I don't know what their goals are. You know, like their motivations beyond just surviving and eating. You know? So I feel like maybe if I learn more about spiders, I'll be less afraid of them. I'll know how to deal with them. Which I'll have to, because I want to begin doing service work for air conditioning stuff. And I'm going to be interacting with spiders, whether I like it or not. That's just the nature of working in attics and in, you know, in basements. That's just the nature of the thing. So, I feel like maybe it's the same way with guns, with the Muslim faith, with the government, with flying, with military, with the Middle East in general. And I think on the flip side of that, though, because we want to protect ourselves so much, we also want to make sure that we are doing the right thing. Because if we do the right thing, then there will be less people that dislike us. If we do the right thing, then people won't want to hurt us because they see us as good. And so that's led to, you know, people kind of making good things, you know, as in they force them to be good. Not, obviously people do good things. I'm not trying to say that. People do good things and they do them for the right reason. But I think that a lot of the time, sorry, I just realized this was a crappy angle, sorry. A lot of the time, people just do things that are right because they understand that it's right, and they want people to recognize that they are doing the right thing. Like with the Black Lives Matter movement. Obviously, that can go without saying. Of course those lives matter. Of course everybody's life matters. You shouldn't be discriminated against just because of the color of your skin or any other thing that separates you from another person. But at the same time, a lot of the time when I'm seeing documentations of what is happening at these protests, these rallies, these riots in some cases, I'm seeing a lot of white people, and a lot of white people who are saying things that they shouldn't be saying as white people. There's a lot of, in a way to antagonize, there's a lot of the N-word thrown around by white people, you know? And there's a lot of racism towards white people, stating that, like, you know, white people are cruel, white people are self-centered, and they can't handle conflict, they can't handle difficulty, they know nothing of being discriminated. And you know what? Fair play. We obviously don't know what it's like to be looked at strangely, to be assumed that you are a threat, to be denied employment just because of this, because of what our name is. We're not stereotyped for being stupid or dumb or violent. Like, those aren't stereotypes of white people. mostly. But on the flip side of that coin, I think that there are definitely some harmful stereotypes about white people as well, just like there are for any race. We naturally separate ourselves from other people because it helps us to understand the world around us. Like, when you think of how to describe a white person, if you had to describe a white person and how they act, you would describe them most likely in a way similar to what I said, that they are kind of pretentious, a bit overdramatic, fair, sensitive. They are quick to put words in people's mouths. And I think another one that's pretty easy to describe them as is uninteresting. White people are often characterized as being not very compelling to interact with. At least that's kind of the message I've gotten from all this, is that people just kind of don't like white people, do they? They think that we're the cause of everything, you know? Everything that's wrong. Is that true? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't think you can pin I don't think that you can pin all the world's problems, current problems, on any group specifically. Because that's not how it works. Because the world got to this point because we want basic things. We want control. We want power. We want property. We want money. We want to be heard. We want people to respect us. Sometimes to fear us, if that's what's necessary. We, as humans, want to feel important. That's a natural part of our existence. But because of that, we're more cruel, we're more selfish, we're more assumptuous, we hate more easily. And we generally lack empathy towards other people. It's not easy for people to put the feelings of others onto themselves and figure out how that person must be feeling. It's easy to feel pity for people. It's easy to recognize someone's in a shitty situation and be like, oh man, that sucks. But what's a lot harder for people is to look at the situation a person is in and recognize that the emotions that person is in. As an experiment, to anyone who's watching this who kind of wants to see what I'm talking about, let's use September 11th as an example. Envision this. You are someone in the second tower, maybe the 20th floor, and you saw, just a couple minutes ago, a plane fly into the first tower. You're scared. You don't know, or maybe not so much as, you're probably scared, but more so you're probably worried about the other people. Maybe you know someone who works in the other tower. You're worried about them. You're worried about the passengers in the other plane. In that plane, anyway. And then you look up. And there's another plane coming right towards your tower. What are the thoughts that are going through your head in that first minute? Those first 60 seconds, right as the plane is approaching. Hasn't quite hit yet, but by the minute's up, it will have. What are the things that you're thinking in that situation? You're on the 20th floor. What are those emotions that you feel as someone who's in there right then? Think on that. That kind of thinking of figuring out how someone would feel in a situation, that's empathy. Realizing those emotions, the fear, the confusion, the anger, the desperation, the sudden panic and need to escape, and the concern you feel for the people above you, because you probably knew those people. They're in the same building as you, maybe only a couple floors up. You might have known a couple. And especially if you happen to see which side they were coming in on, you might be able to pinpoint some of the exact people who'd be sitting in those desks when that plane hit. Would you know in that moment how many people that you knew just died? I wonder about that. Now take that situation and change it a bit. As an inverse, I guess, to play devil's advocate. You are the wife of one of the men who hijacked those planes. Do you align with their beliefs? It's possible, but maybe you don't. Who's to say? Maybe on the inside you don't identify with that at all. You don't hate America. You completely disagree with what your spouse is doing. You know? Or maybe you don't. Maybe you completely agree. Maybe you think that America is awful and capitalism is awful and you want America to die, right? What would you be feeling, though, in that situation? This one is going to obviously be a little bit harder. But how would you feel knowing that your spouse is charging off to die, to kill, and cause terror and panic in the name of what he believes? Would you be happy? Would you be excited? Would you be giddy with joy? I don't think so. I think even for the people in the families of the hijackers, they probably felt sad and scared. They knew that they were waking a giant. They knew that America would come for them. They could figure that out. They weren't dumb. You aren't stupid if you're able to figure out how to attack the World Trade Center. You're not stupid if you can figure that out. I can guarantee you that. They're probably scared. They were probably heartbroken that they were going to lose someone that they probably cared a lot about. They might have been a little proud of them for being willing to sacrifice their lives for what they believed. Whether or not they agreed with that, they still respected that person for being committed to their views and being willing to give up their lives for that, regardless of what would happen after. Because that's not easy to do. Self-preservation is really strong. Obviously, that's not to say that the hijackers were good people. They were terrible people. They knew what they were doing. They wanted to hurt people and cause pain and suffering and death. They are awful people. But, as I meant in the beginning of when I said that, of that exercise, this is meant to be hard. Even if you disagree with people, you need to figure out how they feel, because that'll help you to understand them. Maybe you won't be scared. Maybe you'll understand where they're coming from and how to minimize the bloodshed. I'm not saying go hug a terrorist. I'm not saying that we need to just embrace the Black Lives Matter protesters, the people who are tarnishing the name of this movement by just using it for their own means. This year's shitty. That's an understatement, and that's pretty obvious. But I hope that we learn something from it, you know? We learn more about who we are, who the people around us are, how we interact with others. Next year is going to be the 20th anniversary. It'll be 20 years since that day. Since so many people lost their lives. And so many people did heroic, brave things. From the first responders to that flight that brought themselves down to save other people. I don't really know how to end this. Show kindness to people. And if it's hard to do that, at least show understanding. Figure out why people feel the way they do. Figure out why you feel the way that you do. What is your motivation for what you do? Is it just? Is it right? Is it motivated selfishly? Is it motivated by empathy or sympathy? Sympathy isn't necessarily wrong, but is that sympathy getting in the way of you understanding how someone feels? And is the way that they feel contradictory to the way that you're going about helping them? It's just something to think about. I don't know. If anyone watched this far, then props to you. But, if you did, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to try and kick myself into gear and upload some more stuff. But I can't guarantee that, you know. But I'll do my best. See ya.